Hey y'all, it's Suzette Speaks live on your radio. I'm only doing sound today because I'm under the weather and I've had too much fun for July 4th. So we're about to go live here now. All right, we ready? Phones are off. I'm here with the founder of South Florida Dads, Mr. Jeremy Augustin. All right, so hold on. Here we go. Ready for the mic? Here we go. Good afternoon, South Florida. How we doing? Wagwan, Palm Beach. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. And I'm here with a special guest as Suzette Speaks live on your radio. I'm so happy. I'm by myself in studio for like the first time. I'm used to having all kinds of folks help me on the production side. Shout out to Miss Chin. Shout out to Humble Lion. I'm grateful for the family affair that is always a good time here at the Voice of the Caribbean. We had amazing shows yesterday, last week. I'm here again. If you don't know who I am, I'm Suzette Speaks, your hostess with the mostest here on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, INI Radio. We have an informative show today, and we're going to have a little bit of fun too. I have the founder of an organization called South Florida Dads. And if you are watching online, you may notice I haven't shown my face today. Y'all, I had too much fun during the July 4th celebration yesterday. First of all, I was up in the pool. Shout out to the bro. He did a little barbecue. Hey, family time is always a great time, but it looked like trying to do my little backstroke, left stroke. Me catch cool, and all of a sudden me feel like under the weather. So I was like, God, please, I gotta do my show tomorrow. My voice not 100, the cuteness not at 100, but we still here, y'all. We have to be here because the people expect us, and we want to always deliver, right? So every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., Suzette Speaks live on your radio. We discuss all kinds of topics and introduce you to community leaders and folks who are making big impact in South Florida and around Florida. And today is no exception. I have a gentleman with me who has founded an incredible organization for the guys. Hello, hello, hello. We know there's a lot of good men in our community, but they oftentimes go overlooked. So he's taken the step, the great step of pushing for and advocating on behalf of dads. And he founded earlier this year an organization called South Florida Dads. And I was like, yo, we did actually a great show the other day on the new the laws as it pertains to child support and how it has changed so much for men. Listen, Florida, y'all got to read these new laws. The Republicans are on a mission to equalize, I would call it, child custody. There's been a rewrite of all of the. Hello, who is this? Mikey, Mike, you chiming in on my show? How you doing? Oh yes, you gonna come in and do a live remote, or you gonna let us know where you at? Okay, I appreciate you. Listen, when the boss come through, me have to stop. So thank you, Mikey. Mike. Let me know when you are ready for the live remote. I forgot you guys are on the streets today, but yes. Yes. All right, we're gonna do a quick introduction of Flow Jam Legal. Let's go on the road with Miss Opal Lee. Hi, Miss Opal Lee. Attorney Opal Lee, how you doing? Happy Friday, and we're on the road at your office. Tell us what's going on. I don't even know they could do that. I didn't even know they could do that, and I don't see how they are doing that. So we're just going with the flow. I don't know. I didn't know they could do that. They just told me turn on the microphone and turn up this. But God is good. Okay, we got it. She can't talk up the whole time, but we gotta go. All right, ready? I'm back on. Sorry. If you're listening online, that you get in the behind the scenes. They're doing a live remote broadcast in the middle of my broadcast, and it kind of surprised me. But it's a shout out to Opal Lee and her office. They are doing a promotion today, and they're letting people know about it. So if you can't hear anything, that's what's going on. And we're about to be back to our regularly scheduled program. Yes, thank you for checking in, and I appreciate the people going over to see Opa Lee on the road trip to Flow Jam Legal. And we appreciate you checking in, Mikey Mike. We'll hear back from you a little bit later, right? Okay, I appreciate you, Mikey. Thank you, Opa Lee in the building, and thank you so much for that promotion and making sure that the people who need immigration help, today is your day to go over there. Now it's free. It's free. So make sure the consultations and stuff and the fees and things. Today is a promotion by Flow Jam Legal. So make sure you go and visit if you can. So I'm here in the studio with none other than Mr. Jeremy Augustin. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Fantastic. Thank you for being with me on a July 4th weekend.
It's Friday,
Hey,
baby.
hey. How was your July 4th? Did you do anything special?
Nah, just rest.
Okay, probably dads
I
need
need it.
rest.
I need it.
Dads need rest. So he's like, listen, some of the best evenings, me watch fireworks. So I'm gonna go swimming. I went swimming. I tied up myself. And me and my niece, we were splashing off, splashing. Had dinner at the barbecue pit at my brother's place, and then watched fireworks. And then I was ready for. I just did Netflix after that. I was like, because South Florida, they pop them fireworks till
Yeah.
11, depending on where you live. But where I am, they pop them fireworks. First of all, I thought they stopped, and then they started all over again. So they go and they get the re-up, as they say, back at the fireworks depot and come back and do it again every other hour. But yeah, it was fun. Happy 4th to everybody. Hope you guys had a wonderful and safe holiday. But I'm here again with the founder of an organization called South Florida Dads, and he's gonna talk a little bit more about it. So, are you a dad?
Of course.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
how has being becoming a father? How old are your little ones, if I may ask?
So I have four children. I have a 7-year-old,
No.
4-year-old, 2-year-old, 1 year.
People still having 4 kids around this place? No,
Thank God.
stop.
Everybody tell me I have a whole football
You can
team. I'm just like,
listen.
man, it's
I
only
think
4 kids. It's not that many
it's
compared to what
not.
I've seen.
There's no judgment. There's no. I mean it in a jest, but I actually want to ask, what is your life like?
Chaotic.
What? I mean, I think kids are a blessing. That's how I
Absolutely.
see kids, and I don't think of it as like, I think coming from a big family, that I come from. My mom was one of 20. Yeah, that was back in the day when they didn't have no TV and no Netflix, no nothing,
Absolutely.
no
Man.
no no internet. They was busy. Them time they're 14 and 15 and 16 and 17. That generation, the greatest generation. Especially if you're from the Caribbean, they had like huge families. So to hear someone with more than 2 kids now is also kind of unusual because most people stop at one, two, maybe. But you do have families that are larger. And was that by choice, by design?
So I've always wanted 2 kids. That was
Yes,
my whole mentality growing
yes,
up.
yes.
But
It just happened. Okay.
they,
Well,
mm,
so we so you gotta tell us more about this amazing organization, South Florida Dads. Is an organization that he started earlier this year. And tell us what gave you the inspiration for bringing this together and making it official.
well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's wonderful to be here. First time doing a radio interview. So again, thank
Yay!
you for having me. I've always wanted to do something for fathers because I've seen where fathers have always become second class citizens. And
Hmm.
it's always like the father seems to have no input or no influence in a child's life. And it
Well,
was like, well, it takes two to tango, right? So you
listen.
can't just say it's all about the mothers, which I respectfully,
Yes.
love our mothers, my mother, my late mother, Anna George. But it takes two to tango.
So
You
big up.
cannot have a child without a man. You cannot have a child
Listen.
without a woman. So it takes two to tango. And what I've been seeing is just, the way society has just kind of driven fathers away. And I'm not just gonna blame society, but men having children with these women or women, and they're not taking care of the responsibility. I came from a single parent household, and I saw the effect that it had on my life,
Yeah.
my brother's life, my sister's life, even my mother not having a husband in the home, or a father figure for us in the home where we can learn how to be a man.
Yeah, it
And
impacts
that
her
affected
too.
me, yeah.
Yeah,
And my dad not raising me and leaving all his children with their baby mom and doing whatever he wanted to do. So it was as early as 12 where I said, you know what? When I grow up, when I become a father, I won't do this to them. I won't put them through. And it's just the other day I kissed my youngest, and I was like, I'm here for you. I ain't going
Oh,
nowhere. I'm gonna ride this out.
I
I'm gonna
love
be here.
this.
So um
So you had a conscious choice and you had a vision from when you were young
At,
that you wanted to be
I
a
was,
dad. You didn't
yes,
grow up with a dad, but you wanted to
I
be a
know my
dad.
dad. I know my dad.
Yeah.
I know my dad.
He
But
didn't live with you,
he
but
didn't
you
live.
knew
He
your
didn't live with none of.
yeah,
My
his
dad was
kids.
a Rolling Stone, so he
Okay.
lived with none of his
Kids at the time.
kids.
Yeah, yeah,
I have siblings from New York,
yeah.
and the rest of the siblings are here in Florida. But none of them. We all had the same story. It's crazy, and we didn't really grow up together. Except for me and my younger brother. We didn't grow up. We didn't live together, but we grew up together for a certain amount of time. But
Yeah.
we've never we never grew up together. And then once we came together, we all had the same story. It was like, yo, this guy really was like doing this
Listen, you
thing.
telling a Caribbean tale if I ever heard.
Oh yeah, my father's Haitian, my mom's Haitian meaning. So
Okay.
it's the common, it's the norm, but it caused a lot of dysfunction
Yes.
because you grew up, you'll probably end up doing the same thing as what your father did,
Right.
or what your grandfather did, or what
Right.
your uncles have been doing.
Right.
So at 12, 13, I was just like, I can't do that.
You wanted to be
I
different.
wanted to be different, and so
That's great.
it was good just seeing the peers, my peers as well, wanting to change that narrative.
So that's good. That's a very strong what can I call it? Motivation
Absolutely.
for a person like yourself. And I'm appreciating the truth that you are sharing right now because a lot of shame is around fatherlessness, especially in our communities where people are not they feel away. We have a lot of judgment in society, not any of my listeners, but of course we have a lot of judgment in society where people can, assume things about people who have not grown up with a dad. And we're not going to say that there is no impact because we know it is an impact. We know that kids need their father, children need a dad, especially I'm talking about heteronormative kind of setup, what we're discussing today. So when we are talking about this, it's not from a place of judgment. It's a place of we got to do better as a community. And if there are places in which we can, strengthen our men so that they do have the support they need and that same attitude that I'm going to step up, I'm going to do what needs to be done. And we also want to express that in the same vein, especially in the Black community, there's a bad rap that our men get where statistically speaking, it is actually true that Black dads spend more time and more resources, even when they are not married to the mother, than any other racial group. So we want to dispel that stereotype right now, because even when Black dads are not married to the mom, their children's mom, statistically, thank you CDC, they talk about they exceed expectation actually when it comes to trying to spend time and spending time and resources with their children. So we know that there are good dads out there, whether you are married to your children's mom or not. You have to be somebody in the child's life in order for there to be balance with the child and child to feel complete. So he's talking about today, excuse me, Mr. Jeremy Augustin, the founder of South Florida Dads, is with me today talking about his testimony basically and what he's doing now in an organization he's founded called South Florida Dads. So talking about your personal experience, again, I applaud you and I'm grateful that you came here to be transparent. Let's go, somebody. And everybody has a different experience with fatherhood. So what is your experience like now? So not growing up with your dad in the home, you clearly had impacts. First, let me ask you, do you feel like it affected you long term, and if so, how?
Absolutely. I told my wife not too long ago that I'm a dad that still needs a dad. Like, just because I'm a father doesn't mean I don't need to be fathered as well.
Yes.
Because it's still those things where I can go, go back to my father and say, hey, I'm struggling in this area, or I see this, or I'm not feeling like a good provider or protector of my family. What can I do to improve as a father? I don't have that encouragement. I don't have that,
that role model,
that role model to say, hey, you can do this better. Maybe you tweak this, keep going. I don't have that, or just to sit around and have my sons with me, and I'm with their grandfather, and I'm with my dad, and we're just together kicking.
So you miss those moments.
I miss those moments,
and you're conscious that
and I'm conscious of it. And
Wow.
It was just one day I was just driving, late at night, going somewhere. I was like, man, I'm still a son that needs his father.
Listen, grown ups still need parenting. Is that
Of
weird?
course,
Because
yeah,
I know they're saying that we have, all become adults, and adulting is very difficult.
Yeah,
From the bills just don't stop. Every time you get done with the bills, they come back the next month, and you looking at them in the face like, really, this is what we're doing? And the relationship dynamics of life now friendships are so difficult right now. People that you think is your ace and gonna be in your corner for the rest of your life, showing they behind. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little personal here, but I'm over here thinking about that. And then comes the family life. If you're fortunate enough, God blesses you with kids. And all kids are not created equal. I'll say in terms of the different personalities, right? They are a gift from heaven, thank God. And if you are entrusted with the responsibility of raising one, it can be a hard job. There's no manual. Okay, there's lots of books, but there's no real manual. And especially if you had, what would I call it, the residue of a parental figure that wasn't what you needed. You hear what I'm saying? Somebody that sometimes our parents don't know it all. They probably had their own traumas. They had their own issues. So when it came to them trying to be good mom, good dad, etc., they just did the best they could. That's one thing I want somebody to get a release from today, because they just tried their best. Some of them are still wounded.
Absolutely, because my father didn't know his father. My mother didn't know her father.
Yeah.
So it does affect them.
Cyclical.
So that's why I do give grace to my parents, because they didn't know. I don't know what happened,
right,
after the fact. Things happen.
No, listen, when
So
it comes to the Caribbean community,
things happen.
A lot of trauma been passed
It's a lot
down,
of
man.
and we don't know how to deal with it.
Yes.
I remember a pastor was saying real quick about trauma, about getting released into slavery with no therapy. Slavery was over. All right, go into the world and kind of
go live.
What happened to all the trauma that you guys caused us in this country?
Right.
It's the same thing with our parents.
Right.
They're just kind of thrown into adulthood with no guidance as well, and they're having a family. They're trying to figure it out,
and they've immigrated to a new country, and they're trying to figure out a new system and all of that stuff. So parenthood can be just so complex. And shout out to all the parents out here. And I think what Jeremy Augustin started out with our conversation, if you're just joining, Suzette Speaks live on your radio every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., having conversations that hopefully encourage and enlighten you as you enjoy your midday. But as I was thinking about what he said, we do have an overemphasis, and I say over because they do deserve it, but there's also an imbalance when we talk about the role of mom versus the role of dad. And that can be, I think, beyond even our niche in our culture, Caribbean culture. That happens across American culture, and I think even worldwide. That big up mommy, love mommy, my mother is my everything, and then there's dad. When you think about Mother's Day versus Father's Day, I had a very interesting conversation here at the studio with Humble Lion and my producer, and he was talking about, it should just be Parents' Day or Family Day, because he feels like and I'm not putting words in his mouth, but his sentiment in our discussion at that time was, we have to have unity. So it was deeper than that. But yeah, we think about dads, and I'm going to encourage all our listeners to ask themselves, how do you frame your dad in your mind? How do you frame your children's father in your mind? Because those attitudes often, whether spoken or subconscious, pass down to the youngins. So first and foremost, we have to get conscious of, how do we see our own parents? How do we feel when we think of them? And what emotional trauma or what feelings do those relationships bring up for us? Mm-hmm. And then we got to then look around, and are we repeating, or has it impacted our parenting or how we have relationships with the kids in our lives? And that goes for brother, sister, auntie, all of that. Because again, that trauma is undealt with, and oftentimes it manifests itself in the newer relationships, which we don't want. We want to change the pattern. We want to break the cycle. We want to say to ourselves conscientiously, my dad wasn't there for me, but I'm going to step up, just like Jeremy Augustin of South Florida Dads did. So tell us a little bit more, Jeremy, about where you hope to have an impact through your organization.
It's just really community. I know that's a cliche saying, but it's really about community. It's really about having those other families that we can come together. We talked about parents when they grew up in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, where across the street knew who your parents were, or you knew that family were, and you guys grew up together.
The neighbors raised you.
The neighbors raised you, right? My mom was in the Bahamas, always told me, if she stepped out of line, the neighbor across the street will give her a spanking. And when her mom come home or her aunt come home, they'll tell on her, then she'll get it. I'm not saying we'll go that far, but what I am saying that we do need community where I could have other men, other women look at my sons, look at my daughters, and also give them some guidance and this and some discipline.
I think
Because
so.
your child shouldn't only hear from you, right? Because I've done it where my mom's talking like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But another adult will say it, and it's like, I get it. So we need that. I think we lost a sense of community down here in South Florida,
Yeah.
and we just need to bring it back. So I just wanted to have fathers and their families, whether you're single, you're divorced, adopted, foster, it really doesn't matter. Just have that sense of community where we can kind of just get to know each other as a family and have our kids grow up, because at some point we're going to be older, we're going to have to pass the baton to our children. So our children need a sense of community. So if we're trying to prevent what our parents did or our parent generation have done to us, we have to kind of be more sacrificial and more committed to community. Not social media, not showing that we're community, but actually being community, actually hanging
Hello.
around, being at each other's, graduation, football games, birthdays, or just hanging around and doing what community does. So that's the whole purpose behind what I'm trying to do, is really have attract the fathers to come together, bring out their children, and collab and do this all together.
I love it. And we're going to have a lot more with Jeremy Augustin of South Florida Dads. Suzette Speaks live on your radio. If you're just joining, we're having a great conversation going, talking about fatherhood, talk about dads and this organization that Jeremy founded called South Florida Dads, which allows for a communal space. Let's go, community builder. Let's go. And I think what you're saying is really what we need, especially in the absence of our own fathers, is, peer mentorship. Sometimes we look for, people, uncles, and people that can stand in the gap, and we thank God for that. But if you don't have that, where do you go? And if you are in need of others just like you, similarly situated in a community, as he calls it, where you can have those real conversations. And I have a cousin that puts it like this. He's like, when he calls me and he says, let's get together, he says, let's fellowship. And that's the word that always, I love it. And it's so deep. And we heard it maybe in a faith-based setting in churches where you say fellowship, but it means so much. It's deeper when he says it. He wants to break bread with you, talk and find out how you really, really doing. Not the, oh, I'm good, but how is it really going with you and your kids? How's it going with you and your wife? And how can we help that real step forward? Where can people find information about South Florida Dads?
So currently our website is under construction. So you can just follow us on our social media pages at South Florida Dads. You can also email us at info@southfloridaDads.com.
So go follow him, y'all. South Florida Dads for more information, because it's very important that, we share information about spaces like this. There are people who are in need of mentors or in need of friends,
Absolutely.
of people who are trying to do better than them family and what they were taught. So it's really important that we give room for places like South Florida Dads on a show like Suzette Speaks show live. We are going to make a couple announcements. We're going to have a break coming up. We're going to come back with some Flow Jam Legal's office. We know that today's the day. They've been talking about road trip to Flow Jam Legal, and that is happening right now. Opal Lee has a road trip at her office where she's offering discount services. Attorney Opal Lee is offering discount services. I'll say it again. Today, Friday, July 5th. If you want, get in touch with her or end up at the office so you can get the services at a discount, 10% off of all immigration matters. And arrival, they just got over there 12, and it's going until 4 p.m. 4727 North University Drive, Lauderhill, Florida, 33351. Conditions do apply. However, if you're looking to have your immigration matter or any other matters of that nature, today would probably be a day that you want to explore, because again, she's offering visa application, permanent residence, deportation, etc. at her office. They are doing a road trip sponsored by Voice of the Caribbean Radio. So we're going to check in with Mikey Mike and attorney Opal Lee in just a little bit. We also want to tell you about the first annual Treasure Coast Conch Festival. Shout out to the Conch Festival representing for our Bahamian Massive Music, Bahamian Junkunu, vendors, food truck. That's going to be Saturday, July 13th, up the road, up there at the Longwood Stadium in Fort Pierce. That's Virginia Avenue, Fort Pierce, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. July 13th. If you like comp, if you want something that is family friendly and lots of food, please feel free to check out the first annual Treasure Coast Conch Festival. Music, food, vendors, all kinds of stuff. Bring your lawn chair and a blanket. It's free. It's free. July 13th, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Lawnwood Stadium, Virginia Key. And I also want to tell you about my event. Shout out to Suzette Speaks. Hello, hello, somebody. I'm doing my next Politicking Networking Social. Politicking Networking Social is where leaders, community organizers, activists, and other professionals come together to break bread, enjoy good company, and good vibes. My next Politicking Networking Social, it's free also, y'all, is July 31st. July 31st, we'll be meeting at Sawgrass Mills at the Yard House. At Yard House, Yard House, Yard House. It's going to be fun. That's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. We have a lot of elected officials and those who are the head of organizations that are going to make a difference in our community coming up with the election upon us. You need to kind of become aware of who's who and what's what. So that's what I'm doing, y'all. This is called Politicking Networking Social, presented by Suzette Speaks. Again, 31st of July, coming up at the end of the month. It's a Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's free. You must RSVP though on Eventbrite. Eventbrite is where you'll be able to find it. So make sure you are listening up for more to come. Please stay tuned. A lot more Suzette Speaks right after this. I definitely talked over the commercials. My bad. That was
You was in the zone. You was preaching, but I was like,
Sundays counting my own, man.
you were doing it.
I most definitely talked through like the first three commercials. But it's okay. Soul Sundays, Croning, Moments, Fast Production, Top Up Flow. Okay, at the 30, I really have to be off. Ooh, I didn't know that. Okay, but yeah, I've seen it light up. They call it.
I can say promises made from Mark A. Douglas, Mayor of the City of Sunrise, on November 5th, 2020.
Hello.
I am Mark Douglas, and I sponsored this.
Hi, how are you?
Stanley Campbell, candidate for U.S. Senate to replace Rick Scott, is asking.
I can't hear you. Say it again.
Stanley Campbell was born in Liberty City, father from Jamaica.
It's Word for Greatness. You want to hold on and then say that when we go online, when we come back in about 2 minutes? You can't hold?
Geophysicist, joined the U.S.
All right, we're going to put it on the ear. We're going to put it on the ear. You have to hold like 2 minutes. You can't hold on?
In artificial intelligence. He joined the U.S. Navy.
Okay, no, you can talk to me. I have a couple minutes now.
Expensive intelligence mission for America. Stanley is a community person. He's been married to
yes, the confess just coming up this Saturday, July 13th. Excuse me, July 13th. So it's free. Yes, it's called the Treasure Coast Punk Festival.
Ensure economic opportunities.
Yes, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Yeah, in Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce, at the lawn. Yes, this coming Saturday.
Sponsored by Stanley Campbell for U.S. Senate.
You can give me the address. Let me see. Or see a phone number here. The number to contact is 786.
Attention South Florida businesses. Introducing Web2Print USA, your one-stop solution for graphic design, web design, printing, business consulting, and strategic branding solutions.
896.
Exciting news. Web2Print USA has joined forces
6133.
We're proud to offer exclusive sponsorship opportunities alongside our top-notch services. You can order at Web2PrintUSA.
All right, thank you. Call me right back, okay? All right, I thank you.
Proud partner of the
People actually call me. That's so cool.
So,
Yeah, we got to hear what the people got to say. That was very funny. Shout out to people listening online. Suzette Speaks Live, guys. I'm only doing this non-visually today because I'm under the weather. I had too much fun yesterday. I went swimming and I think I got a head cold or allergy. I don't even get allergies. I feel like it's allergies. But you know, it's life. I don't feel like sick, but my nose is running. So didn't want you guys to see me blowing my nose 5 times during the interview. But I hope you had a happy 4th. And I hope you enjoy listening. We're going to be back literally in like 1 minute. So leave a like for me, please. Please leave a like. And you can always support. I appreciate you, RM. I see you. Thank you. Oh, I'm going to read this when we get back. The briefcase breakdown says, big facts. Parental preparedness is key. And if your parents weren't prepared for you, single parent or dad or mom, you have problems with them, even if they tried their best. Yes. Great comment. Great comment. Thank you, the briefcase breakdown. I'm gonna use that as a kind of segue when we come back. I appreciate you, and thank you everybody for listening. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, it does. We got about 1 minute. 1 minute. We still here. About 1 minute briefcase brief. Um, I'm only stopping it just real quick while it plays music, so you guys, I don't get copyright strike. So that's why I'm pausing it during the commercials because it has a little bit of music. But we'll be back in literally 30 seconds, not even. We are back. It is Suzette Speaks live on your radio. I'm glad you're listening and welcome. We are having a deep conversation. I just got a comment online that I must read, but if you're just joining us, welcome. It's Suzette Speaks live on your radio. If you hear me sound a little nasal, I told y'all I had a little bit too much fun yesterday during July 4th. I went swimming, backstroke, front stroke, side stroke. Me, I'm a little niecey, was enjoying the pool, but I came out with a little bit, I don't know if it's an allergy or a head cold. I don't know what it is, but hopefully it goes away soon. I hope you had a wonderful July 4th too. Bust your fireworks, enjoy your food. A lot of barbecues was going on. You know, on July 4th, it's so smoky. By the end of the night, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is too much. I gotta go inside. If you watched at maybe a city or from your balcony, if you live in an apartment, or maybe you were just in the street enjoying the evening. It was a beautiful day, first and foremost. No clouds were in the sky, beautiful, hot South Florida day, but give thanks for that. And we enjoyed hopefully some fellowship, right? We just talked about some fellowship, some communal behavior yesterday, so give thanks for that. And a lot of places was closed. I thought, I don't know if it's unusual. Sometimes I remember there being like a July 4th maybe promotional type sale day, but a lot of places actually observed, and I thought that was good. I thought that was really good. Give people a time to be with their friends and family, and just kind of focus on what we should be thankful for. But on top of that, I have a special guest in the studio today, and we're gonna do a live broadcast in just a little bit. We have two things going on. I have a wonderful guest in the studio, Mr. Jeremy Augustin. He is the founder of an organization called South Florida Dads, and he's advocating for dads and their roles in their families, creating peer mentorship opportunities, fun activities. We're going to get into a little bit more about what the organization is doing and how you can become a part of it or find out more information. But it's a real conversation when it comes to fatherhood in our community. I think there's a little bit of a stigma, can I say it for real, that we place on dads, and oh, it's all about mom. But there's a role, and there's an important role for our fathers to play in the lives of their kids, and he wants to highlight that through this organization, South Florida Dads, and it's on social media at South Florida Dads on all platforms. And he's here to just talk about his story and give us some ideas as to how we can, improve and create space for and support men who are trying to step up and be the fathers. But this is the complexity, y'all. Sometimes people want them to be the spouse, and because the what can I call it, dynamic between the two parents is off, the role of father is very different from the role of partner or spouse, right? So I see men who can be and have been amazing dads, but they are not necessarily the greatest partners. Like, let's just be real. So I saw this comment, listen, from a listener online. Pick up yourself. I had a caller during the break. I think he hung up. He was like, y'all are destined for greatness. I was like, okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hopefully he calls back. The number to get right in touch is 850-446-0562. 850-446-0562 gets you right in touch. So I'm here with Jeremy. Jeremy, how you feeling?
I'm good.
Oh, wait, I didn't put your mic on. Go again. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Okay, fantastic. I'm here by myself, producing my own show today. Yay, shout out to me. They take off the training wheels eventually, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I
you
got
did a good job.
Thank you. Manage the board. And so they call them. Look for the commercials and look up. Hey, we're multitasking, but we're talented, right? So we're gonna be able to handle the non-training wheels ride today. But I appreciate you listening. If you are a first-time listener, welcome. This is Voice of the Caribbean, I Radio. We are here every Thursday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. 94.3 FM Miami, 102.1 FM Fort Lauderdale, 102.3 FM North Miami, Hollywood, all the way in Orlando. Big up yourself. Hope you had a good fourth. 99.7 in Orlando, Lake Mary, Winter Garden, and 105.3 FM and Vero, Port St. Lucie. Y'all make sure this Saturday coming up is the Conch Festival. Big up Port St. Lucie and surrounding areas, Vero Beach, Fort Pierce. July 13th, free event, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Lawnwood Stadium off of Virginia Avenue, Fort Pierce, Florida, will be the first annual Treasure Coast Conch Festival. Make sure you check it out. And again, free admission, bring your lawn chair, blanket, food vendors, trucks, all of that. June Band, Bahamian music, big up all my Bahamian. What is it, 242? Big up all my Bahamian massive. But I'm here with a gentleman who comes from a different heritage, from Haitian parentage / Bahamian parentage. Okay, I see it in the building. Let's go. And we are talking to him about his vision. And I want to propose. Here we go. I want to propose this thought to you from one of our listeners online, the Briefcase Breakdown online on the YouTube side. Thank you for your comment. He writes, big facts. Parental preparedness is key. And if your parents weren't prepared for you, single parent or dad and mom, you had problems with them, even if they tried their best. So thank you for that amazing comment, the Briefcase Breakdown, watching on the Suzette Speaks YouTube page. But talk about that, because I think you talked about the cycle and even how you at times miss your father being in the picture. Now that you're a dad with your 4 kids, hey, somebody. I didn't say it like that, but I meant it like that. 4 kids with your 4 kids. No, with your beautiful 4 full family, yes. And how challenging it can be to not have that person to ring, ring, ring. Hey, daddy, guess what happened? Such and such happened at school today. How can I do it? Talk about this organization and how well, I think you had to get brave too to become a leader among dads. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's fatherhood is not something I think you can prepare for it per se. I think it's it's all mental in the beginning. You're trying to figure out your parenting style. How would you react to certain things, even way before you have children? But once my children came into this world, I was learning as I was going, and as they grow, so I can't treat my children like I call them my babies, and they are now talking back to me, and they're like, I'm not a baby. And I'm like, you're my baby.
Right.
And I'm asking them, you don't want to be daddy's baby? And they're like, no, either I'm a big boy, I'm a big girl. So it's like, oh man, like things are changing, and I have to change with them. I have to evolve as a father with them, because they're evolving, they're growing as young people. And so I always have to be on pins and needles and on point to make sure that I'm keeping up
on your toes,
on my toes, and making sure that I'm always evolving and never setting in my ways.
Yeah, I think what I believe is happening now, our generation and the younger generations, I don't know why I call it XYZ, they have different names for everything.
We call them pandemic babies.
Pandemic babies and all of that. Yeah, our forefathers and our grandmothers didn't have as much information about parenting as we do now. And I do think there are people, thankfully, who just had, the Bible and a loving disposition and tried their best, and therefore were able to kind of impart certain values and preserve certain relationships with their kids and their grandkids. And then there are others that, again, if you didn't have any tools and you were just working to try to survive, it is a different dynamic. And I agree with the Briefcase Breakdown who left that comment. Thank you for leaving that comment online, that everybody is different and we can't really judge ourselves or judge others because people have different experiences. And I think this show is about, it's okay to start now, to try to relate to the dads in our lives, hello somebody, a little bit differently, and to not look at them with this air of, poor expectation or judgment, and know that this is a human being too. This is a person with all different kind of life experiences too. and they're just trying to do the best they can with what they know. And then there's also that part with Jeremy Augustin just shared, is that, you know, what we think of as our role as parents now is probably different from the years and generations before us. They thought, and I can't say every single parent, but in a general sense, they were there to shape the child, not really thinking about the child's autonomy to a certain degree, to their skill sets, their ideas, what they might like or what they might be good at. It was like, listen, I'm gonna need you to become a doctor, nurse, a lawyer, an accountant. Hey, somebody know what I'm talking about. If it's not one of these three or four, now there's thousands of careers, but if it's not one of these three or four, we don't really know what to do with y'all. And we want you to follow those footsteps. And they meant well. They weren't trying to be, you know, curbing to the child, but a lot of us were stifled by that framework. So I'm happy to hear you say that you're looking at your children not only as the parent and the guider, but they also have a little bit of individuality to them. And it might not be in the mold of what you want your child to be.
I have 4 personalities. I cannot treat every child the same.
His 4 kids?
Now they're equal.
Yes.
They're equal. I all treat them all the same.
Yes.
I don't do favorites.
Yes.
Maybe my little one, my
Yes.
youngest one, he's the baby or the youngest of them all. But they're all equal. I had a conversation with my frat brothers about this last year. And they were asking me this question, like, since I have 4 children, you know, how do I treat them? And I said, you know, I can't treat my 7-year-old like my 2-year-old.
Of course.
Because she's going to feel like, I'm not a 2-year-old, I'm
Right.
a 7-year-old, so treat me like a 7-year-old. I can't treat my 7-year-old like my 2-year-old like my 7-year-old, because she's gonna feel like I'm still the baby girl. So treat me as is the baby girl. And so I have to learn how to compartmentalize each of my relationship with my children. And it's important to me to to focus on each child. I have to
spend individual time
with each child. And I got that from Will Smith, actually.
Oh, talking about
He
that.
actually spoke about how, I think for every birthday of his 3 children, he spent one-on-one time with them.
Wow.
And I said, you know what, let me do that, but let me do that on a more week-to-week, daily-to-daily basis.
Wow.
Because I wanted to have that one-on-one time, because I've seen the dynamics where families, all the children have been put into one vacuum, and dad couldn't really focus on all of his children, or mom couldn't focus on all of her children, but there were selected few that they did focus on,
and the kids feel it.
And there was some that they neglected, and they felt it, and jealousy and all these things happened. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't
Listen, he's so mature. This takes time. This takes learning. And again, everybody, and I want to, again, you listen to him like, well, if that was my kid's dad, I'd be good to go. But listen, everybody start from different places. People can grow, and we have to allow both our parents and our kids to evolve. All kids are created differently. They are equal in God's eyes, and hopefully in each parent's eyes. But we have to be very conscious of that. And I'm grateful that you brought that up. When it comes to being a parent, how much time we spend with our kids matters. We used to have designated time around the dinner table every night. And a lot of us, just because we're busy working, doing all kinds of stuff, sports, after school program, whatever, we don't necessarily have that one-on-one time. So we want to encourage people, look at your calendar and when in a daily basis, do you get to spend one-on-one time just talking with your kids, let them lay on you, and then ask them what they're doing and how they're doing. Because a lot of kids mask, and they are feeding off the energy that we present. If mommy looks busy, if daddy looks busy, if they look like stress, and you know they don't want to be adding on to that stress, they're so intuitive. These pandemic babies, as you call it. When I talk to my niece, I'd be like, where'd she get this vocabulary from? I get so surprised. I'm like, 4 going on 40 for sure. And she'd be looking at my face, and she told me yesterday when I went to the pool, I have something to tell you, auntie. Like like I had to sit down and stop. When she says stuff like that, I just stop and I sit and I listen. And she goes into her little story about what happened at summer camp or what happens at school. And I'm like, oh, baby, you're so smart. Or, like, you know, that's great, babe. I'm glad you did. Like, but she takes it so seriously, and she values me. And I have to realize that as a parent, that must be even stronger on a level where a kid needs your affirmation. That's one thing. We look at what we have as adults, and oftentimes what we're missing comes from, and it's a big responsibility, y'all. It's not a blame thing. What we missed from our parents, So the same things that you miss, just like Jeremy Augustin has described, he's the founder of South Florida Dads. South Florida Dads on all social media. You can look it up. I've seen some of the programs. And let's talk about some of the programs you've been offering and what people can expect if they connect with you.
So right now we're just at the genesis of things. So a couple of months ago, some fathers and I were able to go to Lorna's Caribbean and American Bar Grill in Miami Gardens.
Wait, Lorna's.
Lorna, I'm
come
sorry.
on now.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on. No. No, you Cubanized. I mean,
I Cubanized it.
Lorena's apparently no. It's Lorna's.
Lorna.
Yeah.
I apologize. But the food was great.
Yes.
I
Yes.
had some oxtail. I love oxtail.
Yay.
Shout out to all Jamaicans. I love your oxtail.
Listen, nobody can do
but nobody could do oxtail like the Jamaicans.
They gonna say Haitians got the rice. I still love my
Yeah.
John rice, but Jamaicans and oxtail, y'all gotta leave us alone on that.
John.
Is it Jean Jean?
John. You say John.
I say Jean Jean.
John.
Dijon Jean.
There you go.
I say it fast. I don't know. That's how I hear my Haitian brothers and sisters.
It's all right.
But the black rice with the mushroom, that's what I'm talking about. It is so good. It is so good. So you enjoyed communing and fellowshipping with other dads. So people brought their kids and they just, or that was just
the
dads.
first one. It was just for the dads.
Okay.
It was for the dads. We just wanted to, kind of just get away, from the wife and kids or baby mama and kids for a while.
Yeah.
And just come together.
Don't say baby mama. I be trying to say the children's mother or the children's father. I be trying to say it like that. That's me and my political correctness. But we know in the culture that we just say.
Man, things are changing.
No, I try to say
every now and then.
You say baby mom. I say children's dad or children's mom.
Mom. I say baby mom. I've had it.
I try to put some respect on it.
And she said,
I'm the children's mama. That's how I say it. That's how I say it. So getting some time away from.
Get some time away from the family.
Yes, that's
that better.
Yes, that's what
or your partner.
Your partner.
That's the partner. Yeah. So something. Themselves. So right now I know it's summer. Family vacations are happening. Parents need a time off. All the kids are home.
Yes.
So we're gonna just take a break for the month of July, and then we're gonna try to hopefully put something together.
So maybe monthly activities or something like this.
So we'll try to do bi-monthly
okay, cool.
because even as a father for myself, it's kind of hard to do everything. And of course, we want to give our our wives or our partners some break as well. So we need to do our duties and take them away and kind of give them a rest, a break.
I think that's super important. And I think, again, if you look online on his social media for the South Florida Dads and follow, you can follow if you choose on, I follow them on Instagram or on Facebook or anywhere else. South Florida Dads is the Instagram. And what's the email if people want to contact you to join up with your movement?
info@southfloridadads.com. Again, that is info@southfloridadads.com.
Mr. Jeremy Augustin using his Friday away from his large and beautiful family to talk to us about the importance of dads. South Florida Dads is his organization, kicked off earlier this year, trying to create space and mentorship and fellowship for dads in the South Florida region and their families, having one-on-one time with just men, the dads collectively coming together. He just talked about a fun outing that they had earlier and also creating space where they can be with their kids as well.
Yeah, so we definitely want to, again, honor families. It's not just about the dad, it's not just about the mom, it's about family. So we want to honor fathers and their families. So overall, what we want to do, just to simplify, is celebrate the father.
Yes.
We don't want to just say fathers get it together. We've heard that time and time again. But what about the fathers that are present, that don't get the recognition and love and the support that we give the fathers that are not in the lives of their children?
We got to be careful with that narrative. And again, it doesn't necessarily come from us. It comes from a lot of Hollywood and a lot of, media and social media. Obviously, what goes viral? Bad behavior. Mm-hmm. So when you see that one-off or that outstanding gentleman, promote that and not the one-off bad behavior is where I was going with that. When it comes to the bad behavior or the lack of integrity when it comes to fatherhood, we see a lot more of it when it comes to shows on TV, all of that. But the reality, as I stated, is that if we look statistically at fathers who are not married to the child's mom, Black fathers exceed the other racial groups in terms of the time and the resources they spend with their kids. They spend more time with their kids and more resources on their kids than any other group of fathers in that situation.
Absolutely.
So even that says, even if you're not in a long-term relationship or marriage, you should not try to, you know, hold back the engagement of fathers with their kids, no matter what you got going on. With, as I see it online, hey Miss AKA Lady says, the child's mom and dad, whatever that relationship is, you should also think about the child's best interest, right? And the child having balance in their life is also very important, because like Jeremy was stating before, they had an impact on you. So let's talk about where you plan to bring the organization in the future. We have a few minutes left, and the sense that I think there are more, what should I say, with the change in the laws that we've had recently in Florida, where there's been a dad's rights movement, where, you know, if you missed the show I did with attorney Melissa Wilson talking about the change in paternity, the change in alimony in favor of guys, in favor of the father, you got to look at the laws now. There are a lot of changes going on. There's no such thing now as permanent alimony in the state of Florida. Some other ones, but if you missed that show, that was a good show. But just tell me what you hope for in the future when it comes to the organization you've created, South Florida Dads.
So we just want to be resourceful to fathers and their families. We just want to make sure that they have the information and tools and resources that they need to be functional in their lives as just, you know, normal citizens. It's not just about your role, but you as a person. You want to just make sure that you have all the tools that you need, because we do live in a world of too much information now. So we just kind of want to just eliminate those unnecessary information and make sure that fathers have all the resources and tools that they need to take care of their
I love it. And I also think what you're doing, even if it's maybe not the mission, is you're changing the narrative for through visibility.
Yes.
Visibility, particularly for dads of color. Hello, somebody. The positive role model. We had it. Luckily, if you grew up in maybe the 80s and 90s and saw it on TV, you had Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince. You had Carl Winslow from Family Matters. You had the Cosbys. Y'all be mad at Bill Cosby for the real one, but I'm talking about on the show, Bill Cosby. You had all these wonderful, and I can go on and on. Even Amen and those shows. I was watching reruns from the 80s, man. Those shows, I was like, this was so wholesome, because it showed Black men specifically in such a positive light, and as a strong male leader that was tender, loving, thoughtful, and you know, very, very passionate about their families. And so we don't have those spaces as often now with social media, but we can create them. You get the last word.
We have those men.
Yes.
In our backyard.
They are still around. That's right. That's right.
Call your dad, call these men, tell them how much you love and appreciate it, because they never get to hear it. And once they're gone, they're gone. So tell them about their life, give them their flowers.
Oh, lovely last word. Where can people find you again one more time, and your email?
info@southfloridadads.com. Again, that is info@southfloridadads.com.
All right. And you can follow them on all social media platforms. Mr. Jeremy Augustin, it's been a pleasure. South Florida Dads, y'all, the new organization here promoting and creating space for dads to connect with their kids, and also to gain resources and support from one another. I appreciate him coming on a beautiful Friday. Again, Suzette Speaks Show Live. You can always catch me every Thursday and Friday. I'll let you guys know that in the month of July, I'll be doing some travel. Starting next week, I'll be actually handing it off to Miss Chin or Mikey Mike, and I will be on a cruise to Bermuda. I have been hired by Beautiful Brown Girls for their 2024 retreat. Yay! Okay, clap, clap, clap. I'll be in Bermuda next week, so you'll be missing me. Just a couple of Thursdays and Fridays this month. I also have a family reunion coming up in Atlanta, so I have some travel coming up. So Miss Chin will do the honors, and Mikey Mike will do the honors and helping me cover my time here. But also, I have my own networking social for professionals coming up July 31st. It's called Politic, and you can follow me on all social media platforms as Suzette Speaks, 1Z, 2T, Suzette Speaks. Politicking is where professionals meet for good company, good vibes. We have happy hour specials. It will be free Again, within RSVP, you got to go on Eventbrite, RSVP, look up politicking. That's politic with an apostrophe N, or you can look it up as Suzette Speaks, all platforms. But it will be free July 31st, which is a Wednesday. And from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., come to network, come to connect. Again, we don't know our neighbors. We don't know our leaders. That was the purpose of this, to bring us together with the leaders in our community. And so we will know one another and support one another. Again, that's July 31st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. presented by Suzette Speaks, politicking. And also remember FlowJam Legal. And I'll hold Mikey Mike. If FlowJam Legal wants to call right after the break, we can call right after this break coming up and talk to attorney Opal Lee, who is taking the show on the road July 5th, today only, from 12 to 4 p.m. She's offering discounted services at her offices. Yes, Miss Opal Lee. We're going to. Oh, Miss Chin, you want to do it while the commercials are playing, or you want to come right back after the commercial break? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am. All right. We'll be back with more. Thank you for listening to the Suzette Speaks Show. More with FlowJam Legal Road Trip right after this. We definitely missed two commercials. We definitely missed two commercials. I'll be talking over the stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. And thank you to Jeremy, Augustin, South Florida, for being here. Take care, guys. I'll see you. Have a great weekend.